Hey there, beautiful lady. Welcome. You are listening to The Stylish CEO, the podcast for female entrepreneurs ready to step into their CEO role and be the face of their brand. I'm your host, Laura Jane, your very own personal stylist and women's empowerment coach. I'm a Nutella and ice cream addict, flamenco dancing Yorkshire lass with over 15 years experience of working in the fashion industry. Each week, we'll be diving into topics that cover style, business, and personal development, as well as guests interviews from leaders within their field who will be sharing their stories and expertise. So go grab yourself your favourite cuppa, sink into your favourite chair, and let's dive into these CEO game-changing conversations. Hey there, beautiful ladies. Welcome to another episode of The Stylish CEO. Today I'm joined by the beautiful Lily Badcock, and I'm so excited for this episode because Lily, she's so passionate about what she does. So Lily is a spiritual purpose coach, and what she does is reconnect people back to their spiritual path and purpose. And she does this through a combination of singing, coaching, and intuitive guidance. And like I say, I'm so excited to have Lily on the episode today because we couldn't shut up talking. What she does is just so amazing. And I really resonated and enjoyed our conversation so much. So today we are going to be talking about how to understand your true purpose and how that can help bring everything together that lights you up and makes you who you are. And it's such an important topic that we constantly forget about because unless you are connecting with who you are and what your true purpose is, then you're not going to let that inner glow radiate out for the world to see, which is something that I constantly talk about doing and helping women do. And I really believe that if we all align with who we are as women and we connect with what our true purpose is and allow that to radiate out to the world would be such a bright place. And this society that we live in tells us that we can't do these things, and I constantly talk about this, and I know I may sound like a stuck record, but it is so true. We are like pigeonholed into these boxes, and it's about breaking free of them boxes that we put in and really aligning with who we are and what our purpose is. So I really hope that you enjoyed the episode today. Before we get started with today's episode, I want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by my Facebook group, The Stylish Entrepreneur Tribe. This is an exclusive community for female entrepreneurs that empowers them to be as stylish as their brands. If you are ready to up-level within your business, start to become more visible by being your true stylish, authentic self through your personal style so that you can start showing your potential clients that you are the expert within your field, attract and become a magnet for your ideal clients, and then transform this into sales, then this group is for you. This community is a free, safe place for female entrepreneurs who are chasing their dreams, are fearless and have a desire to show that they are the experts through transforming their image so that they can represent their true stylish self because they know that their personal style plays an important role within their business because it is an extension of it. If this sounds like you, then head over to the show notes at girlbehindthelook.com/podcast, where you will find the link to the Facebook group. Now let's kick off this episode. Hi there, beautiful ladies. Welcome to another episode of The Stylish CEO. Today I am joined by the beautiful Lily. I'm so excited for this episode. Hi Lily, how are you today?
I'm all good. It's very kind of you to call me beautiful because I feel anything but this morning with my hay fever face and my soaking wet hair. So bless you. Thank you very much.
Well, I believe that we are all beautiful. So I always refer to everybody as being beautiful because I want people to believe that. So yeah.
100%. I love that. No, you're absolutely right.
I'm so pleased that you're on this podcast today, and I'm so excited about what we're going to talk about. But before we get started, do you want to quickly introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about you and your business?
Yes. So, hi everyone. My name's Lily Badcock. I call myself a spiritual purpose coach, and that basically means that I intuitively guide people back to their soul purpose. So it's been a real journey. I started as a professional singer I was a vocal coach for years. I then changed my title into confidence coach because I realized a long time ago that actually what I was doing for people was giving them confidence. And then on from that, I realized it was actually confidence to be who they truly are, and hence the new title of spiritual purpose coach. So it's definitely been a journey, but that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, I love that term, the spiritual coach, because I just really connect with it like straight away, because there's something inside of me that I really believe about, you know, the spiritual side to getting to know yourself. And hence why you're on this podcast, because that's what we're talking about this season. So let's dive a little further into what you're talking about today, which is about understanding your true purpose. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So my belief is that every human being is on this planet for a purpose. And I almost hate saying that because it's so cliche and so many people say that. But I think what I've come to understand from that is the purpose isn't always going to be this huge thing. And I think people feel like they have to go in search of their purpose. And I think when they are thinking along those lines, they feel like their purpose has to be this huge, enormous, life-changing, like globally impacting thing. And it kind of will be that, but not everybody's here to be Oprah Winfrey or, you know, or Ellen DeGeneres or anyone of that magnitude. I know and believe that every single human is here for a purpose, and the impact you are having in the world has already happened. And I think this is what makes me a little bit different. I don't believe purpose is something you have to go in search of. The purpose is who you are. And there's absolutely no way you're not already living your life in purpose in some way. But so many people don't recognize the value they bring to the world. So many people think that they have to get there. And so they second guess themselves. They question their worth. They question their values. And they dim their light, basically, and they can live an entire life believing that they didn't mean anything and they didn't create anything. And I know I'm here. I had a spiritual awakening 2 years ago, and I received the message that I'm here for those people that are waking up to what that purpose is. It's my job to let people know, A, that they matter, B, they're not going mad, because everybody thinks that they're going mad when they first start to feel the tug in that purposeful direction. They think they've lost their mind, because it often means doing something that is a little bit off the wall. So for me, it meant going online and telling everybody that I had intuitive gifts. And I remember when I first got that message, it was like, I can't go around saying that. They're going to think I've gone mad. Yeah. Like, my family are going to call me and be like, are you okay? So yeah. I know I'm here because I've walked that path, and I know that I'm here for the others that are walking it. And my main mission is to let as many people know in the world that they are here for a purpose. They're already doing it. It's just my job to help them see the value that they bring, and then allow them to step into that in a bigger way.
Yeah. Okay, I've got two things that I want to mention. First off is I really love the fact that you say that people have got that purpose already. And I think as a society that we live in, we're constantly told that we have to kind of find our purpose in life. And, you know, I think it kind of makes you, depressed is the wrong word, but you kind of beat yourself up, don't you, trying to find what your purpose is. And I love the fact that you believe that people are already living their purpose, and they need to, in some ways, kind of get in tune to that and get on aligned with that.
100%. It's perception. So a great example, you used the word depression. For me, it showed up as anxiety. So in 2013, I'd had 2 children by that point, and one only very recently. He was only a few months old. And I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, which meant that every day I was waking up feeling sick, feeling dizzy. I actually blacked out whilst driving my car at one point. Thankfully, my parents were with me and my kids, so my dad was able to get us off the road safely, but I literally just blacked out at the wheel. And it was all anxiety related. And I went down the normal path. The doctor gave me antidepressants. I decided from the very start that I didn't want to remain on those. And I was very fortunate that my doctor, when he gave me the prescription, told me, you don't need to be on these for any long period of time. Like, this is just a reset. So he put that in my mind from the beginning, for which I'll always be really thankful. And then it led me down this path of self-discovery. I realized that I'd completely lost my faith through various things that had happened in the run up to that. And I'd lost connection to myself, basically. And it wasn't really that I consciously thought that I didn't matter, but that was the undercurrent of what I was believing. And as I worked through my own self-development and trying to understand why I felt the way I did, I realized that I'd put all of my value into the work I was doing as a singer and as a vocal coach at the time. So I don't know if this was as a result of anxiety, or if the anxiety caused the voice loss, or the voice loss caused the anxiety, but basically I lost my voice for 3 weeks completely. So I couldn't sing, I couldn't teach. I had to keep working because I had to put food on the table. So I was stood in front of groups of children that I was teaching and groups of adults as well, trying to teach them to sing. And the whole time I had this loud voice in my head saying, you shouldn't be doing this. You're going to wreck their voices the way you've wrecked your own. You don't belong here. You can't do this. And the voice just got louder and louder and louder. And it was that led me really down this path that I'm on now. And so I talk a lot about how the challenges in your life are actually what have shaped you. They're all giving you lessons. And I hate to say it because it sounds so irritating. If you're going through a tough time right now, I guarantee you're going to roll your eyes at me saying that and be like, oh, you haven't lived a day in my shoes, you don't know. But actually, it's being shown to me that the people that tend to be drawn to me have had, there's no other word for it other than ridiculous lives, like ridiculous amounts of challenge, ridiculous amounts of heartache, pain. And I know that through those trials, people can feel like they've failed as a human. They feel like when you had your life mapped out and it looks drastically different. And I'm talking like people that were paralyzed as a result of an accident, people who have debilitating life conditions that there's no hope, there's no hope for them at the moment because there's no known cure and they're no longer able to do the things they were doing. It's my job to show them how they are still in purpose. They are still who they are. Your human body doesn't change who you are in your soul, and that's my work.
Yeah, it's such powerful work that you do. The second thing that I wanted to say was I think it's really admirable that you really went on social media and, admitted this kind of spiritual side, because I think a lot of women feel very spiritual, they're very drawn to being spiritual. But once again, society tells us that we shouldn't be vocal about it. And there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm very woo. Or I think to kind of admit that on social and be confident enough in yourself to say, well, actually, I am very spiritual is such an amazing thing. And I want to commend you on that, because it's something that we don't do, we don't admit. And I think that's probably like the first step in discovering, connecting yourself with your purpose, is like really stepping back and understanding the things that what makes you.
Yeah. So I speak about them as separate issues. So I think there's a difference between spirituality and religion, for example. I think a lot of people get that twisted. A lot of people think, oh, I'm not religious. I don't call myself religious, even though I had a religious upbringing. I was raised Christian. My dad is extremely religious. Part of me losing my faith, though, was that a lot of what I'd been taught growing up wasn't making sense to me when I was faced with real heartache and real struggle. I lost a friend of mine to cancer, and they were quite a new acquaintance. I hadn't known them long, but I really struggled with this person that had been so full of life and such a influence in their community, and how that could just disappear. And that was what really got me thinking. And a lot of what I'd been taught growing up didn't answer those questions for me. So I did go on a bit of a journey, and I literally I looked at religion and I considered all of it. I was like, does any of this make sense? And what it led me back to was actually, I believe in a lot of the elements that religion talks about. I don't believe in the oppression that comes with it, and the beating you down a path like this is the only way, what it led me to was actually you have a connection inside of you to something much, much bigger. And so for me, I talk a lot about the word faith. And again, when people hear faith, they think, oh, this is a religious thing. It's really not for me. And the analogy I use is either with a pen, you know, you pick up your pen to write, you expect it to write with ink. That's faith. You know, a remote control, you pick it up, you point it at your telly. In that moment, you are displaying faith. So people who tell themselves, oh, I have no faith, therefore I must have no purpose. You do have faith. You get in your car, you have faith it's going to take you to a destination. You stand up, you have faith that your legs are going to carry you. Like, we're displaying faith in every single moment of our lives. It doesn't have to have a religious connotation at all. And so for me, it was my returning to faith and that exercising my faith in what felt true, even though there wasn't a tangible result for me to base that on, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, it completely makes so much sense, because I'm exactly the same as you. Like, for me, I refer to myself as being spiritual, but I've definitely been on a journey to kind of get to that stage. Like yourself, I was brought up as Christian. My auntie was a born again Christian. So I grew up having, you know, being that awareness there. And then when I got older, I wanted to discover it a bit more, in the sense of different religions. I've always had this interest in different religions. From a very young age, I was always fascinated with learning about people's cultures, you know, and can't remember how old I was. I was at university, so it must have been like in my early 20s. I was friends with a girl and she was a Buddhist, and I kind of got involved in that and started learning about that. And the way that I really connected with the sense that they believed in you were in control of your life, and what you do in your life are the results that you receive back in life. It's a bit like the law of attraction. It's very similar kind of thing. And so it's kind of led me onto all these things. And I completely agree with everything that you said about religion. It's like, I think it's about having an awareness there. Anything wrong with what people believe in, if you want to believe in that, you know, personally, then that's completely fine. But I think it's like, what's right for you, and having that spiritual connection with yourself and awareness of who you are and how you perceive the world is
absolutely
is a beautiful thing, and it helps you understand who you are, doesn't it?
Totally. And something came up on my own podcast this week where who was I speaking to? It was my guest for this week, Maya Riaz. So Maya is a celebrity manager. So she was in PR and she used to look after celebrities, and now she's moved her business online and it's gone in this new direction. But actually, listening to her story, I asked her, do you feel like this is a spiritual path that you're on? And she said, well, I don't call myself spiritual. I don't feel that I am that spiritual, but maybe there's something in it. And it was a really important distinction, because I think people often think, oh, well, I'm not religious, so therefore I can't have a purpose, or I'm not spiritual, I don't believe in that, so does that mean I can't find my purpose? No, I don't believe so. I just feel like you've just said, it's everybody on their own path. It's finding what makes sense for you. It's trusting what you know in your heart. I know when I found certain books, or when I've read certain passages or heard people speak, it's a real remembering. It's not even a learning. It's like, that's what I think. Like, it's like I've always known that, I just forgot.
Hey there, beautiful lady. I'm interrupting this episode because I've got a question for you. Are you ready to figure out your personal style once and for all and have a bigger impact on your potential clients so that you can make more money? If the answer is yes, then you really want to check out my free ultimate guide to unlocking your personal style. In this guide, I share with you 8 steps that you can implement into your wardrobe today so that you can have more impact with your potential clients. So if you're interested in getting this, make sure you check out my show notes for this episode, where you'll find the link to grab your copy. Now let's go back to the episode.
like I said, faith, for me, faith is the common denominator. Every single religion talks about faith in something. We all get to have faith in something. It doesn't have to be a man in the sky with a beard or, or anything else. It literally is just when you realize you have the ability to have faith, and when you can trust your ability to have faith, then you can start to edge out, well, what more do I want to believe in? How do I want to create my life? And really, you are the creator of your life. You get to decide. So it's such an important, powerful conversation. But it's, but I'm really keen to point out that I wouldn't want anyone to feel that if they weren't spiritually connected or in any way inclined that way, that somehow their life doesn't matter, because I know that it does. And really, your purpose is something you've done all the way along. It'll be something that you've been doing for as long as you can remember, and crucially, it will be something that feels so easy to you that you've probably not even paid it any attention. And if it was pointed out to you, you'd say, oh, what, that? Really? It's like when you wear a dress and someone says that's nice, and you go, what, this old thing? Like, it's just your old dress. It's your old comfortable dress or trousers, whoever's listening, that has just felt so normal to you that you would never have put any value on, because to you it's just regular, it's just normal. And this is what happened with with me when I knew that I wanted to have this community, this vibrant community. I was really led by the idea of collaboration. I've always liked the idea of being part of something, not the leader of something. I'm really trying to unpack this idea of guru versus followers. I don't believe in that. I believe that where I'm the most powerful is where I meet people where they're at, and we're on a level playing field. That's my work. It's not about going, oh yeah, you can be empowered, you just can't be quite as empowered as me. I don't believe in that at all. And for the longest time, I was trying to create this environment, this group, and I tried it online, and I tried all these different things with programs and courses and God knows what, and nothing was really working. And then when I had this awakening 2 years ago, it was almost like someone tapped me on the shoulder and just nudged my head to the right to look at the choir that I'd been running for 14 years. And it was like, oh, that's the group. That's everything I've been trying to create was already here.
Yeah,
I was already doing it, and everything about that group was me. I always said I fell into it, because I did. I just stumbled into it. I fell into the group in the first place. I fell into running it when it broke down. I fell into growing it over the years. I just bumbled my way through the whole way, telling myself that I don't know what I'm doing, I have no idea, and really believing that I wasn't bringing any value. And it was only when people in the group started to tell me how much the group had changed their life that I started to really appreciate the power of it, not even of me. I mean, I've said many a time that group has a soul and a purpose all of its own. I'm just the crazy chick in the driving seat at this point. But what that's led me to is so powerful, and that's what I want your listeners to know. It will be something you're doing already. It will be the thing you can't not do. The question I answered years ago when I was embarking on this journey was, if you had all the time and all the money in the world, and no one you had to please, and no boxes to tick, and literally nothing that was governing you in any direction, what could you still not go a day without doing? Like, what do you know you would do in every day of your life, regardless of what money you had or who you were with? And that was when I realized, I will always help somebody to feel better about who they are. And that's where the confidence coaching came in. I know that, and that isn't me trying to put a pat on my back or be like, oh, I'm such a great person, because I make mistakes like everybody else. But I absolutely know I will always try to have somebody leave my presence feeling better than when they came into it. And that's your purpose. It's just the thing you are. It doesn't matter. I know I'll be that person for the rest of my life, regardless of what happens to me.
Yeah. It's very similar to what I do as well, and how I feel when I work with my clients.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm taking away from what you're saying is that you, in order to really connect with your purpose, you need to have that faith within yourselves, which is something that we, especially as women, I think women are probably more prone to it than men. But we really don't have that faith in ourselves and the faith in what we're capable of and how actual powerful we are.
Right, 100%. And I think for me, it's been learning to ignore the human thinking and connect back into what my soul knows. And there's a difference. And everybody has this intuitive ability. Everybody has this voice inside of them. It's just that sometimes it will guide you to do things that feel like absolutely nuts. It's like your cheeky mate going, oh, let's go and leap off that cliff. You're like, no, that doesn't seem safe.
Yeah.
I can't see where I'm going to land. And the other thing I just wanted to finish on relative to what we've been talking about was what you just said in response to what I just said, which was, oh, that's so like what I do as well. And when I had this awakening 2 years ago, it really felt to me like there'd been an activation. I knew I wasn't the only one. It felt to me like how it seemed in my head. And this is where, you might check out if you think I sound mad, but, try and stick with me. I just feel like we were all part of this pod. It was like we were all part of this collective group. We were beamed down to earth, flung in the far corners of the earth, left, right, center, like we're all everywhere. We have a collective mission, which is to remind people of their power. That's it. But you're human. So that's your sole purpose. But your human has multiple ways to do that. I happen to have dropped into a human that can sing. So singing is part of what I do. And you've dropped into a human that talks about style. So that's how you communicate with your humans. And we are all doing the same work, essentially. But our human has multiple ways of how that looks. And I know that for so many people, when they're on this path of purpose, specifically entrepreneurs, actually, they get very bogged down with, should I do this? Should I do that? I've got all these plates spinning. And, in the business world, they talk about niching. And I think for spiritually connected people, niching makes us want to throw up because we're like, because that would mean that I have to pick singing or coaching. I can't do both. I believe you have one purpose, one mission. Your human has multiple ways to bring that to life. And so we are connected in our mission, but we all have our own gifts. We all have our own nuances and the way to bring that. And that's how we wake up the world. And that's how we change the world for the better.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah, I love that. Because, like when I first started, I kept getting told that I need to niche down. I need to niche. And I was just like, but it felt so wrong to me because I'm about all women, no matter what shape or size you come in. And I was like, I don't know how I can niche down because that's not what I'm about. I feel like I'm discriminating against women. And I'm like, I'm about not discriminating against women. So for niching down, it's like, for me, it was very, very something that I really struggled with. And, I had to really connect with myself and think, well, actually, what are the skill set that I've got? And how can I niche down in a way that I'm targeting a particular set of women, which obviously are the female entrepreneurs. So it's something that I think we all struggle with, especially when we're starting in our business. But something that I've realized recently is that I was constantly listening to what people was telling me I should do in my business and how I should run my business. And I kind of had to take a step back at the latter end of last year where I was like, well, hang on a minute, what do I want? What am I about? And, reconnecting with that. And actually it's okay me listening to what they say, but then it's me taking what they're telling me and then doing it in my own way. And I think when we're starting out in business or we're, on this journey of entrepreneurship, we constantly sometimes forget to listen to ourselves and what we are what our inner soul is telling us what we should be doing. When we get caught up with 100%. All this noise.
There's a powerful journal prompt that you can use actually, which I've learned to use, which is exactly that. Whenever I'm struggling with a decision or whenever I'm feeling conflicted and I really don't know what to do, I will write down in my journal, what would I be choosing to do if the opinions of other people didn't matter? Like if I wasn't worried about upsetting anybody or doing it wrong or, judging myself even, then what would I choose? And that's what I mean. Often our choice wouldn't be the popular choice. We so often make choices and decisions based on other people, not based on what we know is right for ourselves. And I think that's a powerful shift. And, relative to the niching, again, like I have a theory about niching now, which is niching works as a strategy when you're new in business it's true to say that if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody. You can't reach in and grab the soul of someone if you're being too broad. And I get why people talk so much about niching, but I think anybody who's spiritually connected struggles with that, because they know that those outer things are irrelevant. So to me, you can niche, but you niche on a soul level.
Yeah.
So the niche is you, and this gets us into comparisonitis as well, where, you know, so many people might go, oh well, you know, I want to be a coach like that, but there are 50 bajillion other coaches like that. Well, first of all, good, because that means there's a need, and second of all, you might have the same label as 50 bajillion other people. Nobody else is you, though. You are your own soul. It's like a thumbprint. Your soul blueprint is unique, and how you deliver your message, when you base it on your experience and how you feel, and when you're authentic to yourself, that is something nobody else do. I could literally hand somebody the entire workings of my business and they will never replicate what I've done, because it's me. So you're the niche. You're the niche. That's it. Like, the niche is who you are in your soul. And I believe we're tethered at the soul to the other people that need us. And that's all it is. It's a reawakening your soul so you can communicate with the others. And this is why we're led to people, and we can't always explain why. We don't always, like, there's no tangible reason. You couldn't write it on a piece of paper. You just know in your heart you're supposed to listen to this person, or you just know in your heart that you're supposed to work with them in some way. That's your soul talking, and that's what you want to be paying attention to.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing and so powerful. I'm like, thanks so much for sharing that. So where can the ladies that are listening to this connect with you on social?
Okay, so I hang out a lot on Facebook. So you can find me, Lily Badcock Confidence Coach, on Facebook. I believe all the links are going in the show notes anyway.
Yeah, they are.
I have ventured into the world of Instagram recently. I feel like I need to up my Instagram game, but I'm there and I'm trying. So I'm Lily Badcock there as well. Or you can just go to the website, lilybadcock.com.
Yeah, and I know that you've got an offer for the ladies that are listening to this. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that freebie that you're offering?
So this is exciting, everybody. Hold on to your seats. So last week,
get ready.
Get ready. So last week I ran a live 5-day live stream series called 5 Days to Spiritual Purpose. This was really spiritual connection in action, because when I launched it, I thought it was going to be 5 days of brief prompts just to kind of nudge people in the right direction. I wanted it to be a really useful opt-in for my website. I wanted to get people in so that they could experience it. What it became, though, was this transformational program over 5 days. So in actual fact, the bundle 5 Days to Spiritual Purpose is going to be a paid offering on my website, but I'm keeping it free for your listeners.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and everyone that came through it live got it free as well. So it's 5 Days to Spiritual Purpose. It's basically 5 live streams that you'll get dripped out day on day with the prompts written out. So there were some exercises. On day 2, I think it was, I channeled an entire visualization, which has never happened.
Wow.
It was just the most powerful program. So it's free for your listeners. So what I'll do, I've given you the link for it, which will sign them up. What I'll do, though, is create a special code for your listeners to put into the cart. So, because at the moment it's free, but at the point it switches over to paid, they'll have a code that they can input, so they still get it for free.
Yeah. And you can find that in the show notes with the link for that. Thank you so much for joining me today. And before we go, I want to quickly ask you a question that I've been asking all my guests on the podcast. And that is, because I believe that we're on a journey in life, when you get into a car to make a journey, you have a playlist. And I want to know, what is your theme song that's got you either to this point in your life or the journey that you're about to embark on? And I'm so excited to find out, with you being a singer as well. I was so excited to find out what your song's going to be.
So I mean, I could have struggled with this. I did something recently where someone said, choose your favourite song. I was like, no, I can't pick one. But actually, there's one song that's become a bit of an anthem for me over the past few years that never fails to shift my energy. Whenever I'm feeling like I can't do it, whenever I'm feeling like I'm beating down the wrong path or whatever. And it's probably not that well known either, which is hugely exciting. So it's sung by Jennifer Hudson, and it's called I Got This. And the fact that you just said, I mean, I love how this stuff works. The fact that you just gave the analogy of being on a journey in a car, the whole song is about packing up her life. She's driving in her car, and it's about leaving behind something that she thought was a fit that is no longer a fit. And it's just that affirmation, I've got this. I might not know what the path looks like. I might not have any idea of the next step I'm going to take even, but I know that I've got it. And to me, it's such a spiritual message as well, because actually we're always guided. You're never on your own, even when you feel like you are, and you absolutely have got this. So when you feel like you can't do it, or when you feel like it's all gone to crap, like, so whack that on full blast. Jennifer Hudson, I Got This. And now it's in my head and I'm covered in goosebumps. I feel like I'm going to put it on straight after this.
Amazing. Ladies, if you want to go listen to that song, you can go find that in the Spotify playlist that accompanies this podcast. And again, you can find the link in the show notes for that. Thank you so much, Lily, for joining us today. I really, really enjoyed this podcast episode. Thanks so much.
You.
Bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye.
How amazing was that episode? I really enjoyed my conversation with Lily. She's so inspirational, and she's just provided so much insight into really understanding what your purpose is. And I really loved how she said that it is just about having faith and trusting that it is inside you. And when you can do that, you can then start unlocking it and really understanding it and letting it radiate out to the world. Like we were saying, it's just truly an amazing thing that Lily does. And as we said, you can connect with Lily via the show notes, which you can find if you go to girlbehindthelook.com/podcast. And you will also find the link to Lily's amazing freebie that she spoke about also. And go over to Spotify and listen to the soundtrack that accompanies this podcast, the Stylish CEO soundtrack. Again, you will find that in the show notes. I've really, really enjoyed speaking to Lily, and like I said, she's given so much insight into really understanding what your purpose is and connecting with that. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Before I go, I just wanted to let you know that to celebrate the launch of the Stylish CEO podcast, I am hosting a launch party and you are invited. So the idea around this launch party is that because we've been in lockdown and we've been living in PJs and loungewear for I don't know how many months now, it's an opportunity for us to celebrate the launch of the podcast, but also put on our favourite party dress, your sparkly dress or top or whatever your party outfit is. Bring your favourite beverage and just come and network and socialise and celebrate the podcast with other amazing women. This is going to be hosted in my Facebook group, so you can head over there, but I've got a special VIP guest list. So if you get your name on the guest list, you will be able to grab yourself a party bag, because what is a launch party without a party bag after all? And in there will be an amazing gift from me worth £17, plus you have the chance of winning the opportunity of a one-to-one session with me worth £99. So this is my new one-to-one program called Unlock My Style, and it's an opportunity to work with me and really unlock your personal style and start showing up as the stylish CEO that you are. In order to get on the VIP list, if you head over to the show notes at girlbehindthelook.com/podcast, you will find the link there to sign up to the VIP list. So I hope that you come and celebrate with me this amazing podcast that I have launched. I really hope that you are enjoying it so far. I hope to see you next time on The Stylish CEO. Bye for now, beautiful ladies. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Stylish CEO. If you loved this episode as much as I did, head over and rate and subscribe so you never miss another episode. New episodes drop each week on a Tuesday and Thursday, so you don't want to miss out. I would love to hear more from you on what you thought about this episode and the topics that you want to hear. I also want to shout about you and your business, so each week I will be choosing someone who leaves a review or comment to share with the Stylish CEO audience. Check out the show notes at girlbehindthelook.com/podcast for more information. I can't wait to hang out with you again soon. Until next time, beautiful lady, this is Laura Jane signing off.